Hello UND psychology students, this is Dr. Legursky's tutorial on how to use PsycInfo and other related search engines. So as a UND student you have access to a number of search engines through the Chester Fritz library. So the first step is to go to that library. The website address is library.und.edu. This will take you to directly to the Chester Fritz, which is UND's main library. There are other libraries on campus with their own websites. If you find yourself at one of those websites, you're in the wrong place. You want to be on the Chester Fritz library. Through them, you have access to a number of search engines, and those can help you identify articles. So finding these search engines, if you haven't had experience finding them before, can be somewhat of a challenge. The easiest thing that you can do is once you're on the home page, look for this orange box that says quick links. Go ahead and click on that quick links and it will take you to all the search engines that the Chester Fritz has a license agreement with. So there are a number of things on here that could be useful for your search. Some of them are directly psych related, others are more general. So for example, if your topic is social psych related, you might use sociological abstracts. There's also, if there's a medical related issue that you're focusing on, PubMed might be helpful. But 75–80% of the time, what you're going to be using for my course, PsycInfo, would be helpful, the most helpful. So here, bam, brings you up to the search engine. So this is your interface where you'll be doing most of your searching. So the default is to put it on the advanced search options, and I'd suggest that's what you use. It'll really help you narrow down what you're looking for. Here is the select field option. This is optional, but I always use it. Here, if you have the name of the research article you're looking for, the authors, you can put those in. You can put it in subject. That can sometimes be helpful. If you have the name of the journal, you can put that in. But if you're just starting your preliminary search, what you could do is use the alt text, which would give you really cast a wide net. That would look through the text of the article, the references. It would really give you a lot of information. What I tend to gravitate towards is the use of the abstract. So just to explain what an abstract is, that's the first summary paragraph that's in almost every research article. It describes in brief what the findings are, what the population they're studying, what they're measuring. So generally, the abstract will include the key terms that you're most interested in. The next point is to select what your key terms might be to search. So my interest is in post-traumatic stress and trauma, so I might put in the word trauma. Now, there are a number of different synonyms or different words that describe trauma. There's trauma, there's post-traumatic, there's just traumatic. So what you can do is use an OR function to look up trauma or traumatic. So this will bring up identify articles that use either one of those terms, not both. And that can be helpful. That's going to cast a wider net, because if I just use the word trauma, it might overlook words that use the term traumatic. So you can do this by just putting OR in caps directly in there, or you could use this. You could put trauma there and traumatic down here and take out the OR. So if you used AND in this case, you could do that by typing in AND or using this. Of course, this would be changed to abstract. this would identify articles that use both in the abstract both the terms traumatic or trauma and traumatic, which can be which would be problematic. It would really narrow down what you would find. Another tool that you could use instead of using both these terms, you'll notice that these are essentially the same words with traumatic adding the TIC. What you can do is put an asterisk here, and what the asterisk will do is that it will allow you to identify words, similar words that have the same letters that are before that asterisk. So if we use trauma with the asterisk, it would bring up both trauma and traumatic. Another example might be the word child. So if I just put in child, it will identify abstracts that only use the word child. It would not, in this case, bring up abstracts that instead of using just child, use children. So to capture both articles that use child, the phrase child, and children in the same abstract, you'd want to put an asterisk there. So this would identify articles that use trauma and children, both in the same article. So then you click on search once you've narrowed down, and you'll notice, wow, over 16,000 results. Quite a bit of articles there. So what you want to do is narrow this down. One of the things that you could do to narrow it down would be to, and I'd encourage you to do this to all your searches, is limit it to peer-reviewed. Peer-reviewed is when you a process in which these articles have been submitted to a journal and they've been reviewed by other researchers and psychologists to ensure that they meet some minimum criteria for quality. So without that peer-reviewed process, you're not guaranteed on the quality of the article. So it's important to focus your research on peer-reviewed. Another thing that you could do is you could limit the publication date. So this identified articles as early as 1911. That's probably not going to be very relevant to research today. So you might limit it to, something within the last 10 years, for example. That might be helpful. So you push update there. Other things that you could do. Let's see. Well, we'll leave it with that. So here you have the different articles, the title of the articles. If you click on them, you'll note that they'll provide you with the abstract description, which you'd want to look at. Some of the articles you'll see will have a PDF directly available through PsycInfo. So this one, you can click right on the PDF, and you've got it directly here. It's got, now this is the first page where it includes the abstract. So you could look on this abstract and make it relevant. Many of my courses I ask you to have that first page, copy of that first page. So what you'd have to do is print this out and give me a copy of just this first page, so I know that you've looked at it. So this would be a good example. Now, not all of the articles here are directly interfaced with the PDF, meaning that not all the PsycInfo articles have this link to the PDF directly available. Sometimes you have to kind of actually go to the journal. So this would be another example of that, where you've got the impact of this article, the impact of intimate partner violence and additional traumatic events on traumatic symptoms and PTSD in preschool age children. So this one has this find it at UND, and it'll show you this link to full text. So you'll click on this full text, and it'll bring it up here. Again, it'll show you the abstract again, and you can click on the PDF, and here it is. So here you could print this off. You could save it to put it on your own on your hard drive or on a USB drive, and you'd have access to it later. So that is how you find the abstracts. Now, a couple of things I wanted you to notice. If we go back here, there's some neat things that you can do with this. Let's say there are a number of articles that you find are helpful for your lit search, and you want to review them later. So let's say this one is useful. What you can do is add it to a folder, and this one you find is useful, and you go back and you do other searches, and you find a bunch, and you're marking them as you're adding it to a folder. What you can do then is go up here to the top, and it will have a folder. You click on that folder, and it will bring up all the articles that you've saved. So that can be useful. If you log out of PsycInfo, it won't save those, so that can be a problem. Now, another thing that you can do is this can be useful because it's important for my courses to provide the reference. What you can do is once you're looking at this at this article, if this is one you decide you want to use, what you can do is click on the Cite button, and it brings up the reference right here, and it says APA format. It has different formats. So this is American Med Association's format. This is APA's format. Chicago style, Harvard. There's these different styles. Now, this is the one that you'd want to use for the course. So what you can do is simply copy and paste. So I use Control-C, and then you can bring up a Word document and dump it right in. Except this is doing it all crazy. What's happening here? So for some reason this is putting it in this shaded box. Another what I would do is perhaps put it in just a notepad. There you have it, and it's going to save the format to it. And then once you copy and paste it from the notepad, it'll bring it into this correct format. One thing that you'll need to know is that this is close enough to APA format. It's not exactly, but typically what you have is the journal in italics. So this is be adequate for my class if you include that in terms of the APA reference. So that's your tutorial. I encourage you to go back and to play around with it. Try to identify articles that are most useful to you. If you have any questions about this, you can talk to me, or you can talk to your TA, or you could also just shoot me an email. Thanks, and have a good day. Good luck. Bye-bye.